I'm Nichelle Miller, your lead facilitator for Harvest Girl International's All Girls Matter Self Esteem Academy. For those of you that are brand new, welcome. We're so glad you're here. And for those of you that have been with us before, welcome back. Please make sure you stay tuned until the very end so that you learn how to get today's special prize. All right, let's get into it. First of all, I think we need to celebrate because it's January. It's a brand new year. If you're like most people, you're in the zone of setting resolutions. And if you're like most people, you're probably done with your resolutions by now, right? But what we're going to talk about is taking our resolutions a little bit further and actually setting goals. We're going to talk about SMART goals. We're going to talk about why they're important and how they can work for you. Did you know that fewer than 1 in 10 people even achieve their goals? So think about that. If you're in a room with 10 people, maybe one of you will achieve all of your goals. It's kind of sad, huh? But through today's session, we're going to talk about how you can have success with setting your goals and reaching them. Okay, before we even get into goals, let's talk about what a goal is. So basically, a goal is a dream or a plan of something that you want to accomplish. So it could be something as simple as I want to bake a cake, or I want to get a better grade, or I want to run the 50-yard dash faster. It's just something that you want to accomplish. Okay, so that's what a goal is. A goal is really a dream, and we're all about dreaming here, dream big, and the power to dream. So that's what we're all about. And a goal is just taking your dream across the finish line. Okay, so when we talk about goals, you often hear the term SMART goals. What does that mean? Are there dumb goals? We see that less than 1 out of 10 people reach their goals, so maybe. But a goal that's not broken down into several different pieces can be a goal that you don't achieve. So with a SMART goal, we just take you through the steps of actually achieving your dream or your plan. Let's talk about what a SMART goal is. SMART is really an acronym. And as you know, we use a lot of acronyms here, but an acronym is just breaking down a word into smaller words. So SMART, S-M-A-R-T, goal is really an acronym. So it just has different words. S stands for specific. M is measurable. A is achievable or attainable. R is relevant. And then T is timely. What's it have to do with goals? It's just January. Let's do some goals. All right. So let's kind of talk about each piece of that. You're going to see that on today's worksheet. So when we're setting a SMART goal, the S, being specific, means a goal has to be very defined so that you know exactly when it's been met, so that you know exactly when you have accomplished it, so that you know exactly whether or not you made the mark, right? So you could say something like, I want to get a better grade in math. Okay. Or you could say something like, I want to get an A in math by the end of semester. That's very specific, right? It tells what you want to do, your A in math, and by when you want to do it, the end of this semester, so you'll know that whether or not you've made it. So you've been very specific. So that's the S in a SMART goal, just being very specific. M, measurable. How do you even know if you're making progress? Have you ever done something and you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you don't know if you're getting anywhere? For example, maybe in gym class you have to run every day and you just run laps, or you run a long distance for a sport and you don't know why, and you don't know if it means anything, what it's even doing, until it's time to actually either compete in a game or a race, and you realize how easy it is for you to complete that task. So by being measurable, you can tell if you're making progress. For example, if our goal is to get an A in math by the end of the semester, the way that we can measure if we're on track for that is by our quiz grades, by our understanding in the class. You can typically see your grades online, or you get a grade every 9 weeks or whatever, but you can kind of track from there. Like, are you getting A's on your quizzes and on your homework? Yeah. If you're not, okay, we're not making it. It's not measurable. We're not getting to where we need to be. So Typically when something's measurable, it's like how much or how many, there's a number involved. So how will you know if you did it? That's the measurable part of a SMART goal. A is achievable or attainable. Is the goal even possible? So if your goal is, let's say, to run the 50-yard dash, I don't know a good time for the 50-yard dash, but if your goal is to run the 50-yard dash at a faster time, but you've never ever run a day in your life, is that achievable within a week? Maybe if you're just an excellent runner. For most people, probably not. So when we look at a goal and we look at whether or not it's achievable, we have to look at if it's possible. If it's possible, if it's in our realm. If your goal is to save $10,000, but you don't have a job or you don't have money coming in, that's probably not going to be achievable, right? So we have to look at, when we're setting a goal, and a SMART goal, the A part of that being achievable, is this something that we can actually accomplish? Is it something within our bubble of possibility? Not saying that things are impossible or that things that seem impossible are not possible for us, but is it within our realm of possibility where we can take steps to make that happen? That's the achievable part of the A. And then relevant. Is your goal, is it important? Is it something that you even want to do? Is it in line with your long-term plans? If it's something that once you've completed it, doesn't matter anymore, then is it really relevant to you? So, for example, let's say your mom's goal for you is to learn how to cook a big fancy dinner for Thanksgiving or for what holiday's coming up. It'll be cookout season soon. I don't know. So your mom's goal for you is to make this big fancy dinner, but you don't want to, and it's not important to you. And after you make this big important dinner, will you ever do it again? Maybe, maybe not. But since it's not relevant to you, it's not going to be a thing that you're going to really retain or use or do anything within the future. So it's not relevant to you. Okay? So part of the relevant piece is why. Why are we doing this? Why is this goal important? Why is it important to you? It has to be important to you for you to be successful at it. If someone else sets a goal for you, or maybe they're helping you set a goal, as long as it's important to you, you'll be more successful at it. Not to say you won't be successful if it's not important to you, but you'll be more successful and more driven to do it, okay? And then T is time bound. So what's our due date? What's our deadline? We can't just keep a goal open forever, or else it's still just a dream, okay? We're not making any progress. So for a dream to be a goal, to be successful, to be a SMART goal, it has to have a due date. So, I want to get an A in math. When? Do I want to do that every year? Do I want to do that by the end of this semester? Do I want to do that on my next test? What is my due date? What is my timeline to know that, yes, I've hit that goal? Now, it can be very much that you are getting an A on your next math test, and that's part of a big goal of getting an A in the class, but we have to have a due date. So let's kind of go back through all of that. So a SMART goal, first off, is a goal. So it's something that we want to accomplish. It's part of our roadmap, right? A goal is really our roadmap telling us where we're going. So we're not just doing things. And then we want to break it down into a SMART goal. So a SMART goal being specific. What are the specifics of the goal? I want to get an A? No. I want to get an A in math this semester, which ends on blah, 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 blah date. Specific. You know exactly what you're trying to do. And then if you want to add on to that, you can even add in your why. So I want to get an A in math by the end of the semester because I want to be on honor roll, or I want to try out for a sport and my mom said I had to have an A, or because I want to get my GPA up. Whatever the reason, you can add in your why. And seeing that in writing and seeing that on your goal sheet that we're giving you helps to keep pushing you on days that you want to give up, okay? So that's our S, specific. Measurable. How do you know if you're making progress? You have to have some kind of checkpoint along the way. Just think if you got in a car and you were going on family vacation and you just drove and you had no idea where you were. You just know you've been in the car for hours, and then you look and you're actually still at home. Did you make progress? Was there a way to measure in all those hours where you were? Maybe you just drove in a circle. But if you had measurements or mile markers or maps or something to show you how you were going, then you would have been able to see if you were going towards your goal or away from it. So we have to have measurements. We have to have a way to check in with ourselves and see if we're making progress towards our goal or we're going backwards. That's like so many people make a weight loss goal in January or a New Year's resolution, and the way to see if they're making progress, step on the scale, right? We have to have a way of measurement, a way of seeing if we're making progress. And it also holds us accountable, because if we're not making that progress forward that we need to, we can stop and adjust our habits to start making progress, right? Okay. Then it has to be achievable. Do you have what you need to achieve that goal? Do you have all the tools that you need? Do you have your plan? Do you is it something you can even do? Like we talked about running. If you're not a runner, saying I'm going to run, 13 miles by Friday, probably not achievable for you. But if we break that down into smaller steps, it would be achievable. Is it relevant? Is it important to you? Why? What's your why? What's your why? Why is it important to your heart? Why does it get you excited? Why do you hope or dream that you can do this thing? It has to be relevant, it has to be important. So what is the relevance? And then time bound. What's our due date? Pretty easy, right? Cool thing about goals is once you meet one or two, you can set a new goal. And just because a goal seems huge, for example, your goal may be, I want to go to college, but you're only in the 9th grade. Well, each year of school, each semester of school, you can set a goal for your grades or a goal even for your college plan. I'm going to start applying to these colleges. I'm going to look up what I need to do to get into this college, or I'm going to look at the requirements so that I can start doing those things and checking them off my list. You can have a huge goal with a bunch of little baby goals inside of it. Now, it's recommended when setting a goal that you set no more than 3 at a time. No more than 3. Many people start with 1, so maybe 1 a month, or maybe 1 every couple of months. Then once you check that off your list, you move on to your next one. For a lot of us, it can feel overwhelming to set goals, but what I suggest that you do is take out a notebook piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and just write down everything you want to do. We call it a bucket list. So create your bucket list, everything that you would possibly want to do. And then when you look at that list, kind of think about, okay, what do I want to do first? What's most important to me right now? And that starts your goals. So you set a goal with that first thing that's important. You break that down into baby steps if you need to. And then you start. You start with your specific. You start with your measurable. You start with your attainable, your realistic and relevant, and then your time bound. Check it off your list and go again. So important that we're able to effectively set a goal and to meet it, because as you get into the business world, which all of you will because you're girl bosses, you'll need to be able to set goals for your business or to set goals in your day-to-day jobs. As you move on in higher education, going to college or doing different things in the workforce or school force, you'll need to be able to set a goal and to meet it. So it could be something as simple as making sure you turn in your homework every week. That can be your goal. But you have to know how to set a goal and not just say, well, I want to turn my homework in every week, and you may or may not get it done. Those things can be broken down into goals that you can move forward. So, SMART goals for smart girls, because you're all smart girls. So these are the steps to setting an effective goal so that you can be one of the people that's not that 1 in 10. We want to make sure that you are a definite 1 in 10 of setting your goals, not the people that fall off in the middle of them because they don't know what to do. Okay, so what you are getting each month, or not each month, I'm sorry, What you're getting this month is our SMART Goal Planner. It has a place for you to put the month and the year, your goals that are important to you. Remember I said no more than 3. So think of kind of your top 3 goals and list them, and then start breaking them down. You can do 1 goal, you can do all 3 of them. And then let's start taking action so that by even next week, next month, you'll have accomplished several goals. You can print this out for each month that you want to work on it, or you can print out 1, get that done, and then work on the next one. Okay, so we want you to fill this out, break down 1 goal, just 1. If you want to do more, that's great. Break down at least 1. I want you to take a picture of this and email it back to us. When you email it back, make sure you include your name, your mailing address, your age, and your shirt size, because there are still some All Girls Matter shirts, girl boss shirts that we have. And then there's other goodies that we have for giveaways. So I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me today and talk about SMART goals. I hope when you're thinking about your goals, you're thinking about why they're important to you, because if it's not important to you, you're just going to drop it. It has to be important to you. I often say, your why has to be so important that it makes you cry when you get older. So when you think about your why, like, it should be something that makes you so excited, like almost so excited you can't sleep at night. So get your why as to why that goal is important, and get those goals down on paper, and let's break them down into those SMART steps so that you can be the girl boss that you were born to be. Thanks for joining me this month. I'm Nichelle Miller, your lead facilitator. Don't forget to return your SMART Goal Planner, SMART Girls, so that you can get your gifts. Make sure you register for next month. Make sure you look at our programming. We will have some in-person programming as well as some online programming, and I will see you on the other side of your goals. Have a great day.